changes in my body that even my eyes are getting better. You just got to keep going. Amen. And you make mistakes, and then you read the label, and you know why you made the mistake, because you didn't read the label. Because everything has stuff in it that you shouldn't be taking. So just, that's the only thing. But if you blow it, your body recovers, you know, as long as you don't do it every day. If you just do it occasionally, you don't feel anything. So I encourage you, this is very exciting. It's something that I believe people want. It's something that I was with a gentleman this week, a dear friend of mine, who is a very prominent businessman in the area, and he's already committed to it. So he's coming on a retreat. So, and he also wants me to come and talk to the 12 guys in his group of businessmen. So we're sort of spreading in all directions. The guys in Scotland have stayed with it. So they're getting their groups together, and things are happening. And you know, I praise God that Dr. Sharif called us up one day and said, would you like to meet up? And this is a result of it. So without further ado, Dr. Sharif.
Thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you, Pastor Chris. Thank you very much indeed for everybody for taking the time and for the dedication and for everything. You're having the tutorial books, and I think thank you very much indeed for that. What I'm going to talk tonight is probably the most important part of the plan, of the pivotal health plan. We are going to describe the journey, because I think this is the most important part of it. Now we have gone through the first stage, where we have identified where the problem is. And we have found the problem is in the processed and the modern Western diet, what is known as SAD, Standard American Diet. That's where the problem is. And we have found why the problem happened, and I think mostly because it affects the insulin, glucose metabolism part of the body. And the very important part of it, because the insulin goes high, and when insulin goes high, there are some other hormones goes with it, like leptin, you see. But the insulin and leptin are the most important hormones, and when they go high, then the body cannot really make use of any stored fat in it. And the solution would be to come back to Mother Nature. So this is a very simple solution. We are not going to reinvent the wheel. We are just like, say, coming back to what people used to eat in the 50s and 60s. I mean, I had been in the 50s and 60s, and I have seen the diet is totally different from now. So we are coming back to that, you see. In order to achieve what we are going to achieve, we have to prepare the mind, because I think the mind is the most important thing. I think the mind is the master and the body is the servant. You have to prepare the mind to lead the body into that path. So preparing the mind as if we are doing the first creation. And when we do the first creation, then we do the second creation, which is going to be the real action, the real creation. That is going to give you the results. And in order to do that, then I think we have to prepare the environment. That is going to be very important. And I think it has been very, very well presented in the tutorial book as well, how to prepare the environment. So it's a journey. So you have to know, we have to know where you are at the moment and where you want to be and how you're going to reach there. And is there any roadblocks? Just like say, you need to have as much information as possible. And we are always in between these two lines, between -10 and +10. This is actually a line which will show here. This is the neutral part of it. But if you are here, then you are on the optimal health and fitness level. This is like, say, Olympic champion who's just finished his race. He will be probably somewhere near there. And this is somebody who is just about to die. So this is death here. So we are always, we are in between these two lines. And you don't know how far are you here or there. But everybody will know. If you are here, probably you are not really very fit and you are not sick as well. So you are just neutral. And if you are a little bit better, then you will just move in this line. And if you are a little bit less, then you move in the other direction. So everybody would probably estimate where they stand at the moment. And where you are now is probably, I can make it a little bit more easy to appreciate. Because some people have got no problem, but I don't think anybody with no problem will be here. I think we have got something, and we want to get it right. So it might be just lack of fitness. I'm healthy, I have got no problem, but I'm really not very, very fit. I mean, when I run up the stairs, I'm feeling a little bit short of breath. I haven't got enough energy when I run, say, a couple of miles. Or it might be I'm feeling a little bit overweight. I'm a little bit overweight or a little bit obese. Or I'm a little bit more getting older, a little bit more faster than I should do. Or some people might have got unexplained symptoms. It's not like a disease. It's not yet a disease. It's just like unexplained symptoms, like, say, for example, migraine, isolated migraine, or IBS. Just in the morning, they have got some episode of loose motions, but nothing really more than that. Or for ladies, for example, PMS, that's premenstrual symptoms. I think these are not a syndrome, not a complete disease, but it is something in between. Or somebody might have got an overt disease like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. So this is where we are now. Where we want to be, I think some people might I just want to look good and feel great. That's all what I'm looking for. That's easy, isn't it? Or somebody will say, I would like really to regain back my power, my muscle power, my mind really sharpness. The least, actually, some people might say, I would like to be symptoms or disease-free. But if you look into the definition of health, this is actually the WHO, World Health Organization definition of health. It is a physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. So it's not really just like, say, lack of disease. You have to be completely well. And that exactly what you want to have. You want to have your lifespan equal your health span, or your health span equal your lifespan. And the best example, actually, I quote in this situation is one of my patients. She was 107 years old, and she had been fully active until 2 weeks before she died. Before she came to the hospital, she had been very active. She was living alone at home. She's doing most of her work. She's got a granddaughter who comes and takes her for her shopping, you see? And she does her own shopping and brings it back home, and she looks after herself. And just 2 weeks before she died, she was admitted to hospital, and she never returned back home. So this is what I would like to be. My health span equal my lifespan, you see? I don't really want to go into a nursing home, or I don't really want somebody to come and look after me at home. That's not really, it's not really what I want. I want to live fully independent until I go. So this is what we are going to go through. It's just like, say, how are you going to get there? So I think we need to prepare the mind, prepare the environment, and just take you through the journey. The most important two roadblocks here in the journey are early symptoms of craving. And we have got some of our colleagues here, they have just gone through these symptoms of craving. If you know this is going to happen and you are prepared for them, they are not really going to put you off, definitely. But if you are going to be surprised, you see, by these symptoms coming up without really knowing about them, then that is something which is not really we want. And then later on, when you go through the journey and you start losing this fat and you're putting muscles, and then because most of the toxins in the body are stored in fats. So the toxins are stored in fats because most of the toxins are fat soluble. So they always store in the fat. And it's really very strange. Even if you have got too much toxin in the body, your body has to make more fat to store these toxins. That's very strange, isn't it? You see? So when you burn this fat, then the toxins will be released into the circulation, and it will go around. It can go everywhere because you don't really want them to go to the brain because the brain is 70% fat. So some of these toxins might go there. So you have to have your detox system working 100%, ready for these toxins to remove immediately out of the body, rather than to allow them to circulate. You see? That's very important, part of the process. You have to be aware about the cravings, and these are very easy to sort out, and to be aware about what will happen later in terms of too many toxins being released into the system. I just put this slide just because still some people think health is in hospital. And I used to be one of them until I discovered that even I was a doctor in the hospital, I was the most ignorant about health. Because health and disease are two different areas. If you are aware about the disease area, that does not mean that you are aware about the health area as well. And this is what the doctors in hospitals are. I mean, hospitals are very, very good. If you come with something acute, with some acute problems, that is going to be managed very, very well because the doctors there, they are very skilled. They have got enough skill in this area of disease to sort out your condition. If that is going to require some prescription of drugs or surgery or radiation. But the doctors in hospital are not aware about this nutrition, about diet, about exercise, about sleep. This is not their line. So I don't think, you see, we are going to seek health in hospital. This is why I think health should be in the community. This is what I think. I mean, I think health should be in the community. All these patients suffering with the chronic condition in their stable condition should be seen in the community. And because there is another issue in the community is more powerful to sort out these chronic conditions more than the hospital because people are connected in the community. And for example, research has shown that, you see, you are likely to be overweight if your friends are. That's very common. That's very common. And it was my problem, actually. When I came from Africa, I had been very thin, healthy, everything was all right. And I just went into the system in this country, very stressful at that time, talking about the beginning of the 90s, when there is one doctor, you see, looking after the acute emergencies the whole night on their own. And a lot of stress, too many hours, eating the bad food, not enough sleep, and I put about 30 kilograms of weight extra in my body. I went from 67 to 97, you see? And I looked around, you see, all my colleagues are the same, you see? And I remember one day I was talking to one of my friends here, one of my colleagues here, Richard, about one of my brother who was coming from Africa. And I said, he is taller than me and he is obese. And he said, I can't believe that. Let me come and see him. And he came and he saw him. And then I think you now believe that. I mean, yes, he doesn't look like me. Although he is my very close genetic relation, but we are living in a different environment, you see? So this is why we are different. But the most interesting findings in research as well is the spiritual connection is more powerful than the genetic connections. And I think that was what we have here in the church. You are much more connected to each other. And this is why I think that is very, very powerful to resolve any chronic disease in the world. By itself, you see, just by your presence together, you are sharing the experience together, you are supporting and encouraging each other, you see. That by itself is quite enough to sort out quite a lot of problems. And the very important here is because, you see, when you get the information, the crude information, that does not help anybody. Because information has to be converted into a practical template to be applied in real terms, in real life, you see. So unless you do that, then you're not really going to get better, to get the use of this information. So information has to get into knowledge. And when you are able to apply this knowledge, then it becomes wisdom. But here, you're not dealing with one person's wisdom. You have got the whole community, the whole congregation in this place, wisdom coming all together. So this is why I thought this is probably the best place to apply health. This is the best place for people to come and seek health rather than to go to the hospital. And this is a study in the community. They are checking the lifestyle versus one drug called metformin. This is for treating diabetes. So they are checking the effect of people sitting together, like what we are doing now, and talking about our lifestyle. And the other group is outside the church, and they are taking a drug called metformin, which is a proper diabetic treatment. They have been divided into small groups, 6 to 10. Each group was led by a trained lay person, and they meet every week for 8 weeks. And this is what they did. So after 8 weeks, they have found this group who had been talking about their lifestyle and improving their lifestyle has made a lot of improvement compared to the drug taking group. And that is, they lost about 5% of their weight, and their diabetic control is 58% better. Can you see that? I mean, this is really very, very good really example to show that, you see, even simple things like that are more powerful than drugs that cost billions of pounds. The question is, this is the legible questions. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for change? This is not really a health change. This is life transformation change. Are you ready for it? So I just quoted this, and this is from Steve Covey. Is one of the American economy philosopher. And he said, start with the end in mind. So what do you want to be? What do you want to look like? What do you want to feel like, you see, at the time when you reach your goals? How do you want to feel like, you see? And is there any reference to what you would like to achieve? And I thought that the best reference could be your photo when you were 20 years old, because at that time, everybody was full of beans. 20 years old, you see? That might be the best reference to go. Yes. 20 years old, yes. That might be the best reference to you. This is your probably optimal health, you see? No disease, you are very healthy, full of beans, strong, sharp mind, everything is okay. So I think that might be your best thing. And if you would like to go for this life transformation journey, you probably would like to pull your photo when you were 20 and put it in a handy place, you see, to look at it every time, you see, when you are coming or going, you see. So they just to remind you, this is what you would like to achieve. You would like to come back again. You see, you would like to turn the clock, you see, back.
I don't think I could handle a game of rugby. That's my problem.
No, at least actually, you have got something to work on. Yes, yeah. At least you have got something to work on, yes. And that's what the crude thing you'd like to achieve. But you have to be smart here and to refine your goal very, very, very clearly. The smart, specific, the goal should be specific, measurable, realistic, relevant for you, and time frame. You put some time on it as well. So I've got, I'm going to refer back again to my colleague, Richard Swift, you see. He put his goals. His goal is 34-inch waist and run 10K, and he's going to achieve his goal in 3 months' time. I think this is really very accurate. Very accurate, because he's talking about changing his body shape, you see. He's going to shape up a little bit. I think now he's got 42 or something like that. He wants to bring it down to...
No, that's by your, that's by your technique.
You see? He wanted to put it... Yes, he wanted to put it back to 34. And then his energy level to be able to complete 10K race. And he's going to achieve this goal within 3 months. That's very accurate. You see, I like that. And I think you probably think that is okay. And I think everybody should really make his goals very, very clear. You see? I'm going to take you here to test the theory, but actually we are not really in a position here to test the theory, because the theory has already been tested. I mean, the first round, people has achieved really wonderful results. We have seen that in their testimonial. We have seen that in them, the people themselves. They are taking less medicines, prescription medicines. They are feeling much better. Their quality of life has improved. We have seen that. But still, I think it would be a good exercise to go through, to test your goals. Is it possible? Yes, it's going to be possible. But is it achievable? Are you personally going to achieve this goal? Actually, I just tell you one thing. Before 1954, nobody would think about running a sub-4-minute marathon. Until, sorry, 4 mile. So 4-minute mile, you see? Until Bannister, Dr. Roger Bannister, he's a doctor actually. He did it in 1954. And then in a few weeks' time, another person did it. And then in a few months' time, another third person did it. And now everybody is doing it. Because you see, we have make it possible. Before that, it wasn't possible, so nobody would think about it. But now it is possible. But is it achievable for you? Would you be able to do it? If you do not think, you are able to achieve this goal, then I think you have to review your case. Why you are not able to achieve this goal, while other people were able to do it. And then this is really another opportunity for you to get stronger, get bigger, you see, and stand up for something really greater than what you used to do in the past. And most of the time, a life-transforming goal like this one is definitely a worthy goal. Definitely. And then you have to make your goals, you have to personalize your goals and make them alive and make them inspiring. I remember here, actually, I've got one patient when I used to work in the NHS, and I was just nagging him every time he comes, and I say, can you do a little bit more, can you move a little bit more? And every time he said, no, I can't really do it, because you see, I walk outside or outdoor. No, I can't, because the weather is always, you see, it's not a very good weather here to walk in. And then, okay, you can cycle. No, the weather is very bad. Eventually, actually, I think he decided to do something about it. And he bought an indoor bike. And then he came to the clinic, and then he wanted to tell me about this. And I felt, he has got something really very exciting to tell. And I said, okay, and I asked him. And he said, yes, I have done about the advice you have given me. I bought this indoor bike. And then I said, how often do you use it? He said, about 3 times a week. And I said, for how long? And then he said, 5 minutes. And then it came into my mind, it's 5 minutes every hour, something like that. And then I started calculating, this should be about that many long time, you see, every 3 times. That would be fine. Then I said, 5 minutes every how long? And then he said 5 minutes every week. so I think, you see, the goals should be inspiring. You see, I don't think this is going to be an inspiring 5 minutes a walk on something which you bought and cost a lot of money, and you're putting it, occupying a space in your house, you see. That is not really a good, inspiring goals. And you have to fall in love with these goals. But the very important issue here, you have to have the fuel that is going to help you to achieve this journey. And the fuel comes from the word why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? And people might just go to the answer and say, I want to be healthy. I want to feel better. I want to be stronger. That's not enough. I think you have to take several levels, you see, of why, until you go very, very deep. And I think most of the deep things are the things which are connected to the family. If you have got, say, for example, grandchildren, you would like to be happy or to cultivate really a good really culture, health culture in the family, or to set up a good really healthy example for the family. That is going to be good. Or you'd like to dance in your granddaughter, say, wedding. That's something really worse, you see. So I think you have to go very deep, and you have to go into your purpose and your belief and your core values. And you have to get very, very emotional about it, very emotional about it. So you are filling the tank, because this is a journey. It's going to take you a lot of energy to achieve this journey. And you have to fill the tank, you see, up to the brink, you see, before you start your journey. That is really very important. If you are going to do something like that, then you have to take everything negative out of your life, and you have to stay on the positive side of life without all negative self-talk remove anything which is negative. And we have got two centers in the brain. We have got one is called the critic center, and the other one is the performer center. So if you'd like to achieve something a little bit more complicated like this, then the critic would start saying, no, you are not going to achieve it. It's going to be too much. That is very complex. That is not going to happen. You are going to waste your time. Until you silence this critic, you see, and switch on the performer, you are not going to achieve anything. Just like, say, for example, you want to go to the airport now, and then the critic is coming on the way. You have to silence this one and switch your car and just the performer, you see, so as to achieve the goal. And you have to have a lot of positive affirmation. You have to recall back your previous victories, you see, and always remember, negative means scarcity. Positive means abundance. If you want to go for health, for abundance of health, you see, for abundance of everything, actually, this is not only health, this is a life-transforming thing, you see. So if you want to go for this, then you are going for the abundance. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit more work on the food, just to see very, very quickly about the food. Just some hints. You want to say no to junk food. You know this one? You want to say no. And you want to say yes for the real food. Because this is what we have, this is the conclusion we came to eventually. And these are the management strategy because you want to increase your insulin sensitivity and reduce your insulin levels. And what you do is to reduce your inflammation, reduce your visceral fat, and improve your glucose tolerance. And these are the things which cause inflammation: sugar, bread, milk, dairy products, pizza, pasta, ice cream, and alcohol. Alcohol is sugar as well. These are the things which cause inflammation, so you want to take them out of your diet. And these are the things which are anti-inflammatory. And this should be your mainstay diet, you see. Vegetables, and you take all the colors. Every color has got a different meaning. I mean, you see the green and the white and the red and the pink and the blue. Everyone has got a different meaning and has got a different function in your body. The most important one is the cruciferous vegetables, these like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, spinach, because in addition to their function as antioxidant, as leafy greens, they have got detoxification property as well. They help the second part of the detox process. When we come to it, we will explain it a little bit in more details now. And this ginger, garlic, onion, and turmeric, these are known antioxidants, and garlic is known as antiviral, antibiotics, antibacterial, antifungal, everything you see. That's the best antibiotics in the world, actually, garlic. Actually, I have, for many years, actually, I have never used anything as antibiotics more than garlic, and snuff, actually. For me and for my family, we are taking it, you see, even for the, for things like common cold, you see, just garlic with a bit of lemon and things like that, and a bit of ginger. You see there, and fish oil is very good for everything. Yeah. And this is what we have done before. We said, I mean, there is quite a lot of sensitivity. If you're talking about gluten, there is one disease called celiac disease. But celiac disease, only 1% of the population will suffer from that. But 47% of the population will suffer from gluten sensitivity. They call it non-celiac gluten sensitivity. And this is why I think every one with any medical problem might have gluten sensitivity. And this is why I think it is very important to exclude gluten, anything with wheat, rye, barley, you see, oat. You exclude it out of your diet because these might contain gluten, and gluten sensitivity is very high. And gluten sensitivity can cause inflammation. Inflammation is going to cause insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is going to distort the whole project, you see, going to disturb the whole project, because you see your goal, as we said, to keep the inflammation down, to keep the insulin sensitivity up, insulin resistance down, and to lower down the insulin levels. Dairy is another thing, because there is some research now saying that the cow dairy is accounted for something like 65% actually of the sensitivity, the food sensitivity. So because you see there is a lot of the food, the hormones, the antibiotics they give to the livestock nowadays, these are all interfere with health. So it's better to exclude dairy products and milk. Soy, most of it is GMO if it's coming from the US. Most of it is GMO. Peanuts, for two reasons. Peanuts have got something called aflatoxin, which is they call it the natural toxin. And the other thing, most of the peanuts is usually impregnated with some, what do you call it, yeast. That is a common practice, actually, because I think, I don't know, it tastes probably better, or it lives a little bit longer, I don't know. But most of it is, I don't agree with eggs, because I do really respect eggs, because this is the best type of proteins. The best type of proteins, and I have met only one person who have got allergy to eggs. But the rest of people, you see, they have got no allergy to eggs, and eggs is really something very important in our diet program. And these are the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals. They are very, very important. And we have mentioned in the last talk, we have mentioned the essential ones. For the mineral point of view, magnesium, selenium, iron, calcium, these are very important. Usually, I prefer to do things by diet, you see, as much as I can. But sometimes you might need a little bit push with supplements just to help you get over the early stages, you see. And then when you start taking the good diet, you see, in good amounts, then I think everything will be all right. The vitamins, vitamin A is very important. Vitamin B, too many of them, starting from B1, which is thiamine, B2, riboflavin. These are, they are very, very important for energy production. So I have seen many people, you see, there are people like me and you, and they are deficient of these vitamins. And when you start giving them the vitamins, their life change completely. They are producing more energy, they are full of energy, they are more healthier, and they're able to do more in their life. And that was what we would like to be in terms of diet. At least, remember before, everybody was saying, if you can do 5, you stay healthy for life. That's not true now, because I think now you have to do 10 or 12, at least, of the good stuff. And why vegetables and fruits are good? Because they reduce the acidity in the body. When your body becomes acidic, then it becomes just like corrosion. You see, it will become liable to corrosion. And reduce inflammation, this is what we said earlier, and reduce oxidants. Actually, when you talk about inflammation, you're talking about the immune system. But when you talk about immune system, means the army or the police system. That is different. When you talk about oxidant system, antioxidant system, this is the fire brigade system. You see? Very important, you see. I think it's more important probably than the police or the army system, you see. The fire brigade system, there's fire going on every moment at any part of your body. And without these antioxidant systems, you see, then your body is going to burn completely, you see. And then your food should be organic, you see, to avoid the toxins. And this is the antioxidant protection. We know the main vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, and even selenium. This is a mineral. It's also act as an antioxidant. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, and lipoic acid as well. And that your final plan. Your final plan should be 10 to 12 servings. Sorry, it should be servings. Non-starchy vegetables. 10 to 12 serving of non-starchy vegetables. These are very important. Yeah, very important, you see. And then you have to have 40 to 55 grams of protein with every meal. Why? Because protein will curb your appetite. That's one thing. Because protein will stop anybody having what is known as sarcopenia. Sarcopenia, when you start losing your muscles. You lose 5% of your muscles every decade. So you have to have adequate amount of protein to stop this process happening. You need to take at least 40 to 55 grams with every meal, even the breakfast, you see. You have to have adequate amount of protein in your breakfast to keep your appetite. Number one. Number two is to keep your muscle, you see. And because you see you have got one of the amino acids called leucine. This leucine level will determine how much muscle is going to be in your body. Because you see if the leucine level comes down, you lose too much muscle, you see. And this is what is known as sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is a disease. It's not of old age. Nowadays, I think it's happening, started to happen even at younger age. You see, when people start losing their muscles, they become less capable of doing things. And this is when they lose too much muscles, they will not be able to even to cope with the normal daily activities. You see? So having adequate amount of protein is very, very important. And then you're not taking too much sugar. How can you replace because you need some good energy providing things. And I think fat is very, very good energy, source of energy to help your body. Because you see, sugar is a dirty type of fuel because it produces a lot of oxidants. And the oxidants damage the body, causes accelerated aging, and causes disease. But fat is a clean energy. The clean energy doesn't really give you any oxidants. You see, very, very clean. You see? So at least your diet should contain 4 servings per day of fat. And you better start your day with proteins and fat. That's very important because you see, in the morning, your cortisol level is high, and cortisol causes insulin resistance. If you are going to take, this is what we used to take before, if you're going to take all the cereals, you see, with the juice and all the sugar and everything, this is going to cause a lot of problem. So this practice, I hope now, is going to stop completely and make your probably the classical English breakfast is probably more healthier. You get the eggs, you get the pork, you get the ham. That's more healthier than the cereal. It's more healthier than the cereal one.
Amen.
Yes, yeah.
I'll go with it.
Yes. Yeah. And the most important thing, you have to reduce your caffeine intake, caffeine and alcohol intake, because both of them, they put your cortisol, the stress hormone, up. And that's what you do not really want to happen. And as we said, we are going to plan our meal. Instead of having, this is the old advice, 3 meals and 2 or 3 snacks. This will keep your insulin up all the time, you see, and then that is not going to be good. But if you take meals with low glycemic index and glycemic load, then your insulin will go a little bit up with breakfast and come down a little bit and then come down flat completely, a little bit up with your lunch and come down, a little bit up with, and then if you can do 12 hours overnight fast, if you can do your dinner before 6 o'clock and you are not going to eat until 6 o'clock next day, 6 o'clock in the morning next day, then this is 12 hours of insulin-free period, which is good. I mean, some people now, they're doing 16 hours. Yeah, yeah. Pastor Chris is doing 16 hours, you see. Last meal, and then he take his next next meal, you see, 12 o'clock midday. And that is really also is a good chance actually to lower down this insulin level. And when your insulin level is too down, then you can tap into your fat. You can take your fat out. You can go down to the basement freezer. You know, the basement freezer, always we cannot really get down to that. You can change your bonds into cash. So you can use them anytime you want, you see. So that's a very good thing, you see. Just by doing one thing, bring down your insulin down, you see, and then you will be able to do anything you would like to do. So this is the early changes of craving. Happens in the first few days, couple of days, and you start having craving. And the craving is due to the fact that, I mean, you have got good and bad bacteria, because you have been eating the bad food, which is good for the bad bacteria. So when you start eating the good food, which is going to be good for the good bacteria, but the bad bacteria are going to be starved, you see. So they make a lot of noise in your gut, you see. And this noise is transferred, actually this is studies has confirmed that. It's transferred through the vagus nerve. It's a nerve connecting the brain to the gut. So, and it takes information both ways. So this information, because you are starving your bad bacteria, they make a lot of noise, and the noise will go to the brain, and your brain go starved. You see? But we have got a lot of options to do here. Low-calorie vegetables, like celery and cucumber. Coconut, you can have really a small little spoon of coconut, and it will just clench down, you see, your craving. Not almond, peanuts. I don't really like the peanuts, but you can do almond butter is good, yeah. Leafy greens is also helpful, and proteins with every meal. And this is the strategy. This is the international strategies for alleviating craving anywhere in the world, you see. Low glycemic index, glycemic load, high fiber, take high fiber diet, proteins with every meal, ashwagandha and brahmi. These are 2 Indian stuff. They are really very, very effective. Very effective. There are supplements available in the market, and they're very cheap, ashwagandha and brahmi. If you can have these 2, you can use them for craving, and they're very, very effective. You can use them in the morning and in the evening. If you want to do something a little bit more scientific, alpha-lipoic acid and chromium. Chromium actually is the one which help the insulin action and opens open the gate for sugar to go into your cells. that one issue. The other issue we spoke about, which is a problem, you see, while you're doing this life transformation process, is by the time when you start burning your fat, too much toxins will come out, will be released, because fat, toxins are stored in fats, and when you burn fat, toxins will be released, and this will go circulating all over the body. So you need to have your detox system functioning properly to get rid of that. And the detox actually happens mainly in the liver, but it can happen somewhere else, in the lung, intestine, brain, and kidney as well. But the liver is the main detox organ. And there are two phases of detoxification. The first phase is oxygenation. Oxygenation, you get the toxins being oxidized, because the purpose here, toxins are fat soluble, and you're not going to get rid of them until you convert them into water soluble things that is going to dissolve in the blood, and that is going to go to the kidney and to get excreted there. So it has to go through two phases. The first phase is you activate the toxins with oxygenation. You activate them. And sometimes these toxins become even more toxic than the parent, than the original toxins, when you activate them. You see? When you activate toxins, you have to have a very active second phase to get rid of these toxins. Otherwise, they become more toxic. You see? So that's the phase. The second phase is you conjugate this activated toxin with something like glucose or amino acids or sulfate or glucuronide, something chemical comes in the liver. You combine this with something else to make them water soluble, and it will go in the blood and be excreted in the kidney. So you have to have a very potent, strong, very active, really, cleansing system. And to do that, you have to concentrate into supporting the detox systems. You can do it naturally if you are just going to take some more spices like cumin, coriander, fennel, black pepper. These are very, very good detoxifying, really, stuff. And it is just natural. You can do them natural. Yeah, I mean, most of the time I advise people just keep a drink, you see, made of this cumin, coriander, and fennel just beside you, and you just drink a small amount of it, you see, continuously throughout the day, and that is going to cover you very, very well. Or you can use some nutraceutical stuff, which has been tested, including all the elements that is going to support the first and the second phase of detoxification. You see? Or you can use something called Guggle. Guggle, this is its work on the detox enzymes, the cytochrome enzymes. It works on, and it is it's an old Ayurvedic stuff, you see, and it works very, very nicely. Guggle. Or you can use something like flaxseed or psyllium husk. These are very, very important things because it will block the reabsorption. Because you see toxins formed by the liver and excreted in bile, and the gallbladder contract and eject the bile into the intestine. And this bile, if you have got enough fiber in the gut, then it's going to clench, to bind to this and take it out. But if you don't have enough fiber, these toxins will be reabsorbed back again into the system. And it will come to the liver, gallbladder, you see, and the system is going, they call it enterohepatic circulation. So it will go like that, you see. But you can block this circulation by taking something like flaxseed. If you take 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of flaxseed every day, then you are blocking this recirculation of toxins. And you can do something like sauna and exercise, a lot of sweating, and you can lose these toxins in the sweat. But you can also take organic food, which is contain less toxins. So I think we have really explained most of it, phase 1 and phase 2. And this is the amino acids, which we... so the whole process here, while you're going through this process, I think you have to bring your consciousness. I mean, this slide actually has been thought of by my colleague Richard Swift as well. When you become conscious about everything, you see, most of the time we are doing things while on the autopilot. Most of us, those who smoke cigarettes, for example, they just go to the shop, buy the cigarettes, and do all the day. They're doing that without thinking about it. It happens just through the autopilot. So I think if you take this autopilot, take him, put them on retirement, you see, take them away of your life, and be conscious, be mindful of everything happening in your life, you are going to avoid all these things, and you are going to make better choices in your life. And if you want to remind yourself, I think you can make an anchor. An anchor is something which you can tap into and is going to remind you of something. So, for example, if you want to cultivate a healthy soil for your family, and you put, say, for example, like, what do you call it, a rubber band, you see, on your wrist, for example. And every time, you see, when you come through a challenge, you wanted to go to the shop to buy something unhealthy, and you just pull this thing, and it will remind you. It works really very nice. It will remind you. No, this is not the thing which I would like now, because I have got a big project here. I want to cultivate a healthy soil for my family. You see, this is not really going to go with my ambition. So I am not really going to go for it, you see. So you stop yourself. It makes you more compliant with everything, you see. And it's something very simple. They call it anchor. And it's very well known, actually, in psychological, what do you call it, stimulant and things like that. And all of us, actually, we are destined, actually, to success. Why? Because I think all of you, since you are here visiting the church, you have got a strong purpose. All of you have got a very, very strong purpose. And you're living in one group, and you are supporting each other, you see. Most of us, you see, are over the age of 40 or 50. So we have got very good life skills. So I don't think this is too much, actually, for success in this project, you see. These are all very, very important. But this is a guarantee, a warranty you are going to succeed in, and you are going to make it, and you're going to change your life and achieve what you want. Okay, I don't think we have got too much time for the preparing the environment, but we have got the tutorial book, and I think it's in the first chapter, and it's page 9, actually, how to prepare the environment. And it's very clearly defined into clear your kitchen of bad stuff. We're coming back to George Orwell and Animal Farm, classifying things into bad and good. The very interesting thing, I mean, the birds, actually, he said 2 legs bad, 4 legs good. But the birds actually were very unhappy about that. But somebody came and said, no, the birds has got 2 legs and 2 wings, you see. So they still can be counted as 4-legger. So we are classifying things into bad and good. And so you clear every bad thing out of your bad stuff out of the kitchen, and you make your healthy shopping list, and you bring the good thing in place. So that is all explained in page 9. The very important thing, you see, many people, you see, they just follow a certain program, a certain really movement, you see, for many, many years. You see, you go to the train station, you stop in the cafe, you buy your coffee and a big chocolate bar, and you get into the train, you see. You see? So I think you probably need to change your movement, you see. Instead of going to the cafe, you can go somewhere else, actually, if there is any water fountain or something like that, might be better. And then you have got the checklist also in the same page. You need to make a journal. You need to complete the metabolic questionnaire. And you measure up yourself, the weight and the height, waist circumference, and the blood pressure. You can do it with the GP, the blood sugar, and the blood cholesterol. That might be a good idea. And very important thing, actually, the water is a big problem. And I think doing even the simple mobile filter might be a good idea, because the water is full of a lot of stuff which is going to distort the whole program. And something like, say, a mobile thing for 30 or 20 pounds actually is going to sort out quite a lot of problems for you. And this is the things which you need to get rid of. Anything in a box or a can, any fake food, any food or drinks with sugar, artificial sweeteners, alcohol, very important. You need to do it just for 6 weeks. For 6 weeks, I mean, that's not really a big deal. Vegetable oils is very important. Take them out, and gluten, dairy, and replace them with a healthy thing. And this is the, it's a life transformation. It's not really health improvement or anything like, or just weight management issue. No, it's a life transformation journey, and you need to get ready and prepare yourself, your mind and your environment for the big event. And the goal is to go back to Mother Nature. Eat the right food, the food which is considered food by your great-grandmom, you see. That is, or your ancestor, the hunter and gatherer. That's the food. That's not really the food which we are using now. And you need to organize your meals, and just like, say, coming back to probably 3 meals instead of meals and snacks. You need to prepare for the possible craving, and you need to prepare for the definite, you see, too much release of toxins in the system. And if you do that, you'll be able to reclaim your life back from the healthcare system and to enjoy the rest of your life. And your lifespan is going to match your health span is going to match your lifespan. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Dr. Sharif. Well, every time I get another lesson, I learn a whole bunch more. And even things that you think you know, sometimes you need it repeated for it to get in. I think someone did a test once. Said you got to repeat yourself 40 times for people to really grasp it. So, you know, just keep at it. That's what I said earlier on. Just keep doing it. It does work. Keep getting the information. Information is the power. I know some of you have gone through some stuff, but you get through it. And you know, Dr. Sharif is here to help us. He'll give you time. He's the kind of person that if you called him, you know, he'll give you the time. And it's so important that you have someone that you can run something by. It doesn't mean call him at 2 in the morning. It's not like you call the pastor. See, I'm wise to all that stuff. He might not be. But no, serious. You know, it's good to keep going, to keep getting information, and to engage with other people in the group to find out where they are. You know, what I know when I started it, when I hit the second stage of detox, man, I didn't feel well. I mean, fortunately, I was seeing Sharif that day, and he smiled at me and said, "No, it's the second phase of detox." And of course, you get through it, and you feel a lot better for it too. But again, you've got to understand what your body's going through and why it's going through it. And when you have any sort of relapse, you've got to understand and be honest with that's what's caused it. But keep going. Yeah, you're a good-looking bunch of people. You're going to be even better looking, and you're going to live longer and be stronger, and your quality of life will increase. Thank you very much.